Okay, this is the August 26th core team meeting, and the first item we wanted to talk about, that's not quite on the agenda, is some discussions with GitHub. Ashley?
Yeah, so this is just to say we have a relationship with GitHub, and we have a call today that's an intro, I believe, with one of their outreach folks, but just that we're in ongoing conversations with them, and I can update you once that conversation's happened. Manish and Pietro are also in the call.
Great.
I think also Mark.
Oh, there's 4 of us. Sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to forget you.
And I really should have started with, can someone update the issues as we talk about them?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. The next item is under urgent problems, permissions on blog wrestling.org. Pietro reopened that.
Yeah, so basically I implemented that only team leads, like all team leads can post on the Inside Rust blog, but it was pointed out that it might also be useful for project group leads to be able to post that there as well. Like it was to ask for working groups, but that also includes all domain working groups, and I'm not sure that we want to have domain working groups posting there. And eventually all working groups that are not domain should be moved towards project groups. So like that's also an incentive. If you want to be able to post on the blog on your own, just do the conversion to project group. Thanks. Is anyone opposed to that opinions?
I'm certainly not
I
opposed.
think that makes a bunch of sense.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have a problem with the embed or some other working group posting there, but I guess they haven't done that in the past and it seems okay. I definitely think project groups do regularly post blog posts, and that was kind of one of the goals of even having the blog in the first place, so we should encourage that.
Yeah, I think the issue is that there's like a weird, like we had like the OG for domain working groups, and then there was the period of domain, like of working groups before project groups. And so I think that maybe to gain permission, that's how like get the governance in order. This will be a fun motivator.
I think that's okay. I do think there's like a kind of gray area right now about exactly what are in their status, and it hasn't been fully resolved, so it's okay.
Okay, Pietro, are you going to take care of that? Or are you looking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. The next issue under initiatives is considering pulling the Citizen Code of Conduct partially to a wrestling repo. And Florian's not here, but updated the issue with a proposed change on a gist. So I think he is asking us to review that and post any concerns. So please do that after this meeting. The next initiative is the 2021 edition RFC. Any update there? Anything we need to do?
Well, I guess Nico's also here. He can talk about it.
Well, okay. Steve and I had a meeting. We talked, and we posted a follow-up comment on the RFC asking for people to clarify a certain thing that we weren't sure we understood. We were planning to, I think, to talk again. Steve, is that right? I'm like still coming online from today from being away, so I'm a little spacey. But I think that was kind of where we stood. We could go into more details of what we said, but I don't think it's the right necessarily have to at this moment.
Okay. Rust survey, anything there?
So very slim update is that we started, so Aaron started asking around for people on the project leads section to talk about like which questions they found useful, and we had planned to follow up this week for like trying to get a draft of, we're looking to sort of go from the old survey and maybe slim it down a little bit so we have less overall data, and so that it's kind of been growing steadily year after year. But they don't have at the moment there is no contract of someone to process the data, so we have to figure out how we're going to deal with that.
Nico, what's like the team that's working on this?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, there is,
Like, is it owned by governance team or like usually it was under community team?
right, I think technically it's under community team, and I don't know that that's like how that, last year we just kind of organized it.
It was under community, but it was
Right.
its own thing mostly of like people who've been doing this for a while.
Right, like
Yeah, it's kind of like spun out as like a, not to use the word working group because it's like not formally that, but kind of that strike team, I think we've said before even.
Right.
The reason I say that is like, I hear the desire to like slim down the survey. I want to like know like how we really came to that, and if it's because we just don't have someone to process the data. Like I feel like that's like our ability to process data historically relies on there being consistency over the survey, which I think is one of the most important and awesome things that we've been able to do with our community survey. So not necessarily blocking on slimming it down, but like this feels like something I'd like to have a document for and like understand how the decision was made and by whom.
I don't think that any decision has been made, first of all, but why we were looking into it, from my point of view, I agree with consistency. I did not envision this as major revisions, but more looking at some of the questions to see if, just like, we want to go from what we had to the next round and keep them pretty close because it's less work and because it ensures consistency. But maybe along the way, there are some questions we don't need to ask. That's how I was thinking of it. I'm not actually sure if that's how Aaron was thinking of it. I do think getting a more of a like actual working group would be a good idea. We haven't had a real meeting, and that's a problem. And I'm a little bit worried about like this needs to be budgeted time-wise, and I don't feel like it has been. And right now it's kind of proceeding a little ad hoc, which I'm not super thrilled about.
Yeah, that mostly I was just trying to see like, is there a way we can give some sort of support / structure documentation to this that can make it feel a little less ad hoc?
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm responding to.
Maybe reaching out to the community team might be a good start to see if we can find a few more people to get involved.
I imagine that Josh, who's been doing a lot of stuff on the community team, would probably be excited to have something brought to the community team.
Okay. Is the best way to do that to go out on Discord, send an email?
I know that they are really active on Discord, so that would be a good place to start, probably.
Both would work. Like we monitor
Yeah.
the email. Yeah, both would work.
The email has the like tragedy of the commons somehow more, I think. But yeah.
I think pinging Josh specifically on Discord would be a good idea.
Yeah.
In the channel, so it's like public, but specifically Josh.
Yeah, and I think they'd respond relatively quickly.
Very well. Sounds like a good plan.
Okay, good. Anything with the target tier policy, RFC?
No update on my part.
Do we still need to be checking in on this?
Probably not. But
Like ideally we need to land it. Like I think Josh hasn't still made the changes I asked. And like we reached some. He was the one who wrote the RFC, and like there is some rough consensus on what I proposed. Like eventually, it's like I think we need to land these RFCs sooner or later because we're getting a lot of tier increase requests, and like we're doing it a lot of ad hoc, and they need for a formal policy. But like,
you want me to apply a little pressure to Josh to move that along? I
that
can
will
have,
happen.
yeah. Just make sure to remind him.
But I did want to ask, I think, re-ask the question, like, is there a point of the core team continuing to monitor this? It seems like Infra and Lang kind of have it covered.
This is the 4th week in a row of no updates this week. Comments by me, and then there's one from Pietro the week before. So us monitoring it is clearly not like doing anything.
Also, like, I personally am okay. I trust the teams involved to do the thing. I don't see a reason to check in on it.
I'm okay with
What
that.
was our original motivation in checking in on it?
I think I brought it up because I felt like it was a core it's a very cross-cutting concern that ultimately resides in core, and I wanted to make sure people were aware of it and that we moved it along. But I don't know that it needs weekly check-ins per se.
Yeah. I think it does fall within our purview, but I also think that the status it's in and the direction it's going, it's fine, and I trust like Josh and Pietro and everyone to figure it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we
Okay.
feel like, yeah.
Yeah, let's take it off our check-in list. Anything with governance working group? No? Okay. The email answering solution, Florian linked me a tweet that had a very promising in the sense that they have free plans for open source projects. So I have it on my to-do list to check that one out, hopefully by next week, but no real update there. Switching to periodic check-ins, Florian's not here, so I'm not seeing anything. Anyone have anything else for the public part of the meeting?
I have a
ahead.
brief thing, which is kind of similar to the periodic check-ins on the governance working group. I think during this meeting, we should briefly also kind of give an update on the foundation project group. So currently
Okay,
with the
yeah, we
foundation-
have a thing for that under private, but if there's public stuff we can do, we can move that issue under public, or do we want like a public?
I think it would be good to do public. Somebody
Okay.
stop me now if you disagree. Or it's at the end of the meeting so we can just chop off this horrible part from me, which is just to say. So we've been largely kind of working out kind of where each member of the project group kind of individually stands, and we'll be having our first meeting to review that on Friday. As we said in our post that we posted, there's going to be, regular blog updates, but just as far as like status check-in, I would like to do those here. We've also been doing some things around sorting some of our like sponsors for infra that are not via the foundation right now, but we've kind of taken that off of Core's plate and are having those conversations in the foundation project group now. So those are the updates that I have so far. And if anybody else from that group wants to like weigh in, if I missed something.
Like we're working on a charter for the project group, and
Right,
other than
yeah.
that, and like we'll get back to the emails we got soonish, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, anything else for the public part? Okay, switching.